Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we have an important update that affects millions of Americans, especially families and seniors who rely on SNAP benefits. If you've been worried about your food assistance or just wondering what changes might be coming, this is one update you want to hear carefully. Let's start with the most important part. SNAP benefits have now been fully restored. That means any temporary reductions or interruptions you may have experienced in the past months are being reversed. For families with children, seniors living on fixed incomes, and people with disabilities, this is a significant reassurance. You might be asking yourself, what exactly does this mean for me? Here's the simple truth. Your monthly SNAP benefits, the amount of money you get on your EBT card for groceries, should now reflect the full benefit level you are entitled to. There's no more temporary cut, no partial payments, and no confusion about smaller than usual deposits. Now, why is this happening now and why this month matters so much? Over the past year, SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, had faced some temporary adjustments due to federal funding cycles and changes in policy. In some states, you may have noticed your benefits were lower than expected. For seniors living on Social Security or SSI, and for families operating on a tight budget, the financial reality is that every single dollar counts. And we know that when you are managing a household on a fixed income, there is absolutely no room for error. Even a small reduction in monthly resources can make a massive, sometimes devastating difference when you step into the grocery store because it isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It is about the anxiety you feel when you look at the total at the checkout counter. A family of four could have been short by as much as $150 or more per month. And when you think about what that amount buys in terms of milk, eggs, bread, and fresh produce, losing that purchasing power is a crisis. For someone on a fixed income, that is a noticeable, painful gap that forces difficult choices between nutrition and other bills. The good news is that the federal government has confirmed these cuts are now fully reversed for households currently enrolled. This is a critical development because it effectively means that starting this very month, the payments you see deposited onto your cards should match your full SNAP entitlement. The period of reduction is over, and the system is correcting itself to ensure you receive the maximum amount you are eligible for based on your current situation. Let's talk about timing because I know this is something many of you watch closely, and rightfully so. When you are waiting for food assistance, the specific day the funds arrive is the most important date on the calendar because it dictates when you can go shopping and when you can restock your refrigerator. Most states distribute SNAP benefits once a month, although the exact date varies significantly depending on which state you live in. Understanding this schedule is key to knowing when to look for your restored funds. In some states, benefits are already being loaded on the EBT cards as we speak. So if you have checked your balance today, you might have already seen the change. However, in other states, the full restoration will appear gradually over the next few days, as it is not always instantaneous for everyone across the country at the exact same moment. For example, if you live in the state of Florida, benefits are generally loaded and made available between the 1st and the 5th of each month. This is a tight window, so if you are in Florida, you should be seeing that full amount reflected very early in the month. On the other hand, let's look at the West Coast, specifically California, where the distribution schedule is slightly more spread out. Benefits in California may arrive anywhere between the 1st and the 10th of the month. This means that if it is the 6th or 7th and you haven't seen your deposit yet, it doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong, it just means you are within that standard 10-day window. If you are unsure about your specific state's schedule because every state has its own unique system based on case numbers or last names, your best source of truth is your local SNAP office or your state's official EBT website. I highly recommend checking your specific schedule because checking early in the month helps you plan your entire month of meals. And knowing that the full amount is finally restored should significantly reduce the stress you feel around budgeting. Next, let's clarify what has changed and what has not because there is often confusion when these announcements are made. So let's break it down clearly. What has changed is simple but impactful, and that is your benefit amount. If you were previously receiving less than your full entitlement due to those temporary adjustments or cuts we discussed, that difference has now been officially added back to your monthly payment, meaning The money that was missing is being returned to your monthly allocation. For example, if a senior couple was receiving $400 per month instead of $500 due to temporary adjustments, they were losing $100 in purchasing power every single month. But with this restoration, they should now see the full $500 returned to their card. That is a direct $100 increase from what they were getting during the cut. For a family of four, the numbers are even bigger, as that household could see a jump from receiving $700 during the reduction period back up to $850. That is a significant restoration of funds that goes directly toward feeding the family. However, what has not changed is your eligibility. Restoring benefits does not mean that new enrollments are automatic or that the rules for getting into the program have loosened. Only those who are already approved for SNAP and are currently active in the system will see these adjustments on their cards. If you were recently denied SNAP benefits, or if your application is currently pending review, this specific news about restoration does not automatically approve your case, and you will still need to follow your state's standard application and interview process. It's also important to know that this restoration is not a one-time increase or a new bonus on top of standard limits. SNAP benefits are still calculated based on the same strict federal rules regarding your income, your household size, and your allowable expenses. What this restoration does is simply remove the temporary cuts that were effectively penalizing you. It returns you to your correct level, but it does not permanently raise the benefit beyond what you legally qualify for under the existing rules and regulations of the SNAP program. So, who benefits the most from this update? When we look at the demographics of who relies on this program, two specific groups gain the most relief from this restoration. First, we have seniors and fixed income households. For many seniors, SNAP is not just extra help. It is a critical part of staying healthy and maintaining independence. When you are older, nutrition is directly linked to health outcomes. Imagine you are a 70-year-old individual living on Social Security alone with no other income sources. You may spend $400 or $500 on groceries each month just to maintain a basic, healthy diet. When you are on that kind of fixed margin, any reduction in SNAP benefits, even a small one, could mean the difference between eating 3 meals a day or skipping lunch, or stretching food further than is comfortable, perhaps watering down soup or eating less fresh produce. With benefits fully restored, that specific worry is now greatly reduced, and seniors can go back to buying the nutrient-dense foods they need without constantly calculating if they will run out of money before the month ends. Second, families with children benefit massively. We have all seen the impacts of school closures, shifting schedules, and the general economic instability that has affected families. And on top of that, rising food prices have made feeding a growing family incredibly expensive. SNAP benefits are essential in making sure kids get the nutrition they need to grow, learn, and focus in school. When benefits were cut, parents had to make impossible choices. Fully restored benefits mean that these families can now budget more confidently for groceries, planning a full month of dinners without the constant, gnawing stress of potential shortfalls. It brings a level of stability back to the household that allows parents to focus on raising their children rather than worrying about where the next meal is coming from. Let's break it down further with a detailed real-world example to really paint the picture of what this restoration means financially. Suppose we have a family of four. Under normal circumstances, based on their low income, they were entitled to receive $700 per month in food assistance. However, due to the temporary cuts, their benefits were reduced to $600 for a period of 2 months. That is a $100 shortfall each and every month. Over the course of just 2 months, that family lost $200 in grocery money. That $200 could represent 2 weeks' worth of school lunches, or it could be the meat and protein budget for the entire month. Now, with this full restoration taking effect, they will get that $100 back starting this month. Depending on their state's specific administrative process, they might see that money restored immediately this month, or it might be spread across upcoming payments. The key is that the financial hole is being filled. For seniors, the numbers might look smaller, but the impact is just as high. For a senior operating on a tiny margin, getting even $50 extra restored can make a massive difference. That $50 frees up cash in their checking account. It might allow them to afford healthier food choices, like fresh fruits and vegetables instead of canned goods high in sodium. Or, crucially, it might allow them to use their cash to cover essential medicines, because many seniors often have to borrow from their food budget to pay for prescriptions. With the SNAP benefits fully restored, that pressure is relieved, allowing them to cover both groceries and health needs more effectively. It's also incredibly important to talk about expectations because I want to be very real with you about how this might feel. You may see the full benefit amount hit your card, and you might look at that number and feel happy that it is higher than last month. However, when you go to the store, you might still feel like it is not enough. That feeling is completely normal, and you are not alone in feeling it. SNAP, by definition, stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, meaning it is designed to supplement your food budget, not cover it completely 100% from start to finish. However, there is another factor at play here, which is inflation. If you notice that your grocery bills are rising faster than your SNAP benefits are increasing, that is not because your benefits are calculated incorrectly. It is because food prices have increased nationally. The price of eggs, milk, meat, and bread has gone up. So even though your benefits are restored to their full dollar amount, those dollars might not stretch as far as they did 2 or 3 years ago. Understanding this expectation gap is vital because it helps reduce confusion and stress. If you know that the benefit is correct, but prices are just high, you can focus your energy on smart shopping strategies rather than worrying that the government has shortchanged your specific account. Some viewers may wonder about interactions with other programs they depend on. For example, if you receive Social Security retirement benefits, Supplemental Security Income, which is SSI, or Social Security Disability Insurance, known as SSDI, restoring your SNAP benefits does not change your monthly checks from the Social Security Administration. These are completely separate systems, so getting your full food stamps back does not mean your SSI check will go down. SNAP simply provides additional support specifically for groceries. If you are on Medicare, you might be worried about your health coverage, but please rest assured that SNAP restoration does not affect your premiums, your copays, or your coverage eligibility. These programs operate independently of one another, designed to work together to help you manage your monthly costs, where one handles your health and the other handles your nutrition. But a change in one does not negatively impact the other. Another common question, especially as we approach tax season, is about taxes. Are SNAP benefits taxable? The answer is no. SNAP benefits are not considered taxable income. Therefore, restoring your benefits to the full amount does not impact your tax liability. You will not owe the IRS extra money next year just because you received the full SNAP amount you were entitled to. That is incredibly important to know, especially for seniors who are very careful about budgeting around tax time and do not want any nasty surprises from the IRS. Now, what should you do as a viewer to ensure you are getting what you deserve? First, make it a priority to check your EBT balance as soon as your state's benefits are scheduled to be loaded. Use the phone number on the back of your card, use the mobile app if your state has one, or check online. If you see the full amount, that is your confirmation that everything is back on track and the system has worked for you. If you notice any discrepancies, for example, if you are still seeing the lower amount than what you expected, you need to take action. Contact your local SNAP office immediately. Do not wait, and do not assume it will fix itself next month. Corrections can take a few days to process, but they are typically resolved quickly once you bring them to the attention of a caseworker. The sooner you call, the sooner the missing funds can be released. Second, plan your grocery budget with the restored benefits in mind. Now that you know the funds are there, sit down and think about your household needs and think about how much support you now have available. This planning process can significantly reduce stress and helps you avoid those panic-induced last-minute decisions at the grocery store where you have to decide which essentials to skip. Knowing you have the full amount allows you to shop with a list and stick to it confidently. Third, stay informed. The landscape of government benefits is always changing. SNAP benefits can be adjusted in the future due to various factors, including policy changes at the federal level, cost of living adjustments that happen annually, or changes in your own personal income or household size. It is your responsibility to keep an eye on official announcements from your state agency and the USDA to ensure you are always getting the correct amount. Knowledge is your best defense against unexpected changes. Finally, remember this is a positive step. The restoration of SNAP benefits is a clear, encouraging sign that the programs designed to help seniors and families are working as intended to support the most vulnerable among us. You can plan your month with significantly more confidence, knowing that the essential support for groceries is in place and fully funded. Before we wrap up this discussion, let's recap what matters most so you walk away with the key facts. SNAP benefits are fully restored, meaning there are no more temporary cuts for current enrollees. Payments will reflect your full entitlement based on your specific household size and income level. The timing of the deposit may vary by state, so you must check your EBT card or your state's specific website for your date. Seniors, families with children, and people with disabilities stand to benefit the most from this relief. SNAP works alongside other programs like Social Security and Medicare, but it does not affect those benefits, nor does it affect your taxes. Benefits are not taxable, and this restoration is not a permanent increase beyond what you qualify for, but rather a return to your correct legal amount. In short, if you rely on SNAP to put food on the table, this is undeniably good news. You can feel reassured that your food support is back to full strength. Take a moment to review your benefits, plan your budget for the coming weeks, and most importantly, breathe a little easier this month knowing that help is there. If you found this detailed update helpful and reassuring, please take a moment to like the video as it helps us reach more people who need this information. Subscribe for future updates so you never miss a change in your benefits. And please comment below if you have specific questions or want clarification about SNAP, Social Security, SSI, or other senior benefits. I check the comments regularly and I try my best to answer questions that affect real households just like yours. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay confident, and remember the support you depend on is here, fully restored, and working as it should.